So today we received our trees that we ordered from the conservation office, and we're going to put them right there. We're going to clear this little spot here. We're going to add them right there next to this little roadway, and my husband will be using the skid steer, and we'll be able to have our own little orchard there. Over here we have some peach trees that are covered in bags right now because it's super cold here in Michigan. Stay tuned. And we're gonna break some ground today and plant those buggers in and get this Mr. Big Turd, lots to say, break some ground here and get these trees planted. These little guys are just meant for fencing, putting up a temporary fence. We had a lot of cattle, we'd use these, stick it in the ground, run your fence through. In this case, it's going to work great to hold my fence. So I put that to the outside so that once I run the fence around, it's got something to grab onto. They don't have to be super straight. Most of these guys are bent anyway. Tree is leaning a little bit. I'm going to straighten him up as soon as I get these guys in, and the fence around it I'm going to put an anchor so that it can grow straight, big and tall. These are our Royal Red Honeycrisp trees. Starting to get some good blooms on them. Pretty excited about that. Always wear gloves when you're working with fence because it's going to cut you. Sharp, get you. You'll be bleeding before you know it. Use caution. So I just take this fence, I kind of straighten out the end, and I just weave it in there. Then I use the inside of the roll to go, whoops. I use the inside of the roll so that it automatically bends toward the tree. I don't have to fight with it the whole time. I want to make sure it's touching the ground. The whole goal is to keep the birds out. They're just cable ties or zip ties as some people call them. You can use any color, doesn't matter. I basically use black because that's what I have. And then I just run it through behind. Actually, I'll probably go this way, it'll be a little easier. This is the part I usually get cut because I took my glove off. It's not very easy to work in gloves with a zip tie. Then once you feed it through the little thing, you just pull it. And it holds it. Do another one here at the top. Just feed it through there, and it'll make the zipper noise. Ta-da. I have two types of pliers here. I have traditional fencing pliers. They have a much bigger bite on them. They're easy to get lost too because they're old and rusty and brown. So put them back in your pocket or spray paint them orange. I like to use just some tin snips because they have a red handle and I won't lose them. I just snip this right through here. You just want to follow a line down though. You don't want to like zigzag all over. If you keep a straight line, it's a little easier to not get cut in a little bit when you're trying to rework it again. Anytime you have this thin line, it's a little bit tougher to cut. Sometimes you got to use two hands. I prefer two hands anyway because I'm faster with two hands. I use the bottom one to run this, and I use the top one to guide it. That's a double wired one. You always want to work with the sun to your back so that you can see what you're doing and you got a bright light behind you. And I always recommend either hanging on to this or hooking it into the wire somewhere here so that it's not going to fall and cut your face, because it's razor sharp. And once I get closer to the bottom, I usually put a hand up here, because as soon as you cut the bottom support, it can go, it can move on you. Of course, it's not going to cut well. There we go. So mine stayed. Normally it flies off here, just like a rocket. Those edges are super sharp now that you just cut them. Good place to find tetanus. No thanks. So as you can see, this is a hard job for me. I got bad feet, so getting up and down is really tough. I prefer not to have to get up and down, but this is the job that needs to be done. That's what I'm doing. My orchard, my job. Off to the next one. If I can get the wire loose. Oh yeah, pliers. Back in the pocket so you don't lose them. 3 more to go. So my poor tree, at the bottom, maybe you can see it through the fencing or not, it's already got a scuff mark on it. That is from those double chickens I have, because I'm going to put mulch there.
On mulching day, it was a huge rainstorm. I wasn't able to video that during the storm.
Well, we did it. It looks pretty darn good for how overgrown it was. Thank you so much for coming along with me on my journey here of planting our orchard here at our Northern Michigan home. As always, thank you so much for everything. And one last thought, how you living?